As the Xbox Series X and S keep maturing, more optimized or Xbox Series X and S enhanced games keep getting released. Whether newer or older games, the enhanced visuals and performance is worth the upgrade for those who can find the latest consoles, especially the Xbox Series X. There are many enhanced games out there that everyone knows about, but here, these are the optimized games that you may have missed out on, but are also worth playing. They may be cross-gen, but the Xbox Series X and S make playing them a lot better. But if you like the video, then please share it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know which Xbox Series X and S enhanced games you think deserve more attention. Stop by the Discord, and now it's onto the list. First at number 10 is the Pedestrian, and this is the type of game where you just want to sit back and relax, but are not after mindless action. The Pedestrian is a really great looking indie game that sees you controlling your little stick figure person as you navigate a series of puzzles before moving on to the next section. Now, I found the Pedestrian to be at its best when you play it in short bursts, as you are doing similar and slightly more complicated puzzles each time, but it can get repetitive fairly quickly, but it's also pretty good fun in those short bursts as well. But the game is also a looker, and after each section you clear, the camera will zoom out and in and pan around the environments as you move the character to the next area, and it's the environments and the detail which keeps things interesting and entertaining as well. It's a great looking game and another indie title that just looks fantastic. At number 9, it's Scarlet Nexus, and if you're into Japanese RPGs, well, at all, then you're going to want to check this one out, especially on your Series X or S. It offers a pretty damn good combo system where you can link your weapon attacks along with your abilities, hurling cars across the screen and straight into your enemy's head. Characters all have that classic Japanese design which can lack some personality for me sometimes with these sorts of games where everyone seems to be teenagers or young adults but talk like 5-year-olds in sound and the dialogue. And that's the weakest part of the game for me, along with the really drawn out cutscenes. But on the upside, it does have some really nice environmental design. Looking up towards the sky and seeing the huge buildings and their art style, which shows off some great scale, which really adds to the game and is easily one of the strongest points going for it. It's a semi-open world, so you can't just go anywhere you like, but if you're wanting a new JRPG, then check this one out. For number 8, it's Tormented Souls, and this one isn't some big budget horror, so keep that in mind as some of the animations and movement is a bit shit. But this pays homage to the older third-person Resident Evil games whereby the camera is fixed and you move a character around. And sometimes that's also shit, especially when enemies are off screen or when trying to aim at something you can't even see. But it also has that old school charm too because of it. Plus it actually looks damn good as well when you explore this place and try to figure out exactly what's happened and why you're there. The storytelling is a bit basic and lacking some emotion, and the voice acting can be lame as well. But the game overall is quite good and worthwhile playing for anyone who enjoys the horror genre. And as I always say, play it in the dark with the headphones on if possible. You'll also be solving puzzles, you know, those types of games where every door is locked. It's one of those. So you will need to work your brain a bit too. Very much a lesser known title, but worthwhile giving it a go. And at number 7 is Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries, the series which feels like it's been around forever, and it really has, and which had that great Mech Assault offshoot game on the original Xbox. And this is the first single-player Mechwarrior game since the early 2000s, so it's been a long time coming, and it's one of those niche games that seems to be more popular a couple of decades ago, and was always suited to PCs, as consoles of the time could struggle to run something like this. Plus the control scheme could be quite complicated, especially, but also necessary if playing the games as more of a sim. Of course, you'll be blowing up and destroying a whole bunch of shit throughout the single player campaign, and even though it's more of a niche title, again, there's still a load of fun to be had here, and it's worth giving it a go, especially if it's something you don't normally play, and of course, it has been optimized for the new hardware. Coming in at number 6 is Knockout City, and when you're in the mood for some just flat out fun, then this surprisingly simple multiplayer sports-like game might be what you need. It's very easy to get the hang of with tight and responsive controls that won't take a long time to learn, and because things are kept somewhat simple, it's very easy to get into the game, but also if you haven't played it in a while. You won't be sitting there for a long time trying to remember what the hell each of the buttons do. The visuals are very colourful and easy on the eyes, and the game runs fantastically. If you can get a group of people together, then you can easily just keep playing match after match as like I mentioned, it's just fun. Even if you use the matchmaking and you don't have a group, this is still a great game, another of those types of games which you may not play all that often. A good one to just fire up and play a few rounds. For number 5, it's The Forgotten City, and this is one game you won't want to forget to play, as it's a little gem, that's for sure. Only made by around 4 people, which I mentioned in another video, and that it started its life off as a mod for Skyrim. But this is kind of unique in just how good the game looks and how deep it is considering the tiny team that worked on it. This isn't the game to play if you're looking to put dozens and dozens of hours into something, as this can be finished in a handful of hours, one afternoon on the weekend if you like. You'll be exploring this intriguing and beautiful setting as you try and find out what's going on, and whilst you draw parallels between the morals and principles of the game and your own. It's one game so many gamers wouldn't have heard of, but it deserves to have more attention brought to it, as it's a great game and definitely one for those who love single player story driven ones. Not very long, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you're after something like this. And at number 4 is Visage, a game I recently discovered whilst working on another video to do with Game Pass. So of course this is on the service, which is just fantastic, and if you're after horror games that have a really good tense atmosphere and you feel like being creeped out, then give this one a go. This will of course see you making your way around this creepy suburban house as you encounter the ghostly and supernatural forces that are there. You'll be searching for keys so you can open doors, which will allow you to traverse the house easier, and you'll also need to be able to light your surroundings, as staying in the dark for too long will affect your sanity. One thing I liked about the game as well was its opening and the story that the game tells about its characters and the mystery and answers you want to know about. It starts off with a bit of a bang and will get your attention straight away with its opening cutscene before it plunges you into the creepy house where you'll want to know exactly what happened. It's a great game. And for number 3, it's The Sinking City, which seems to have sank pretty quickly after it was released. And playing this on the Xbox One was decent, but it did suffer from some performance issues, which was a shame. But if you're looking for a game where the whole thing is just kind of depressing, then this could be for you, as this has a shit ton of rain and cloudiness that is forever around. So if you're after lush, beautiful vistas, then this isn't the game for you. It is quite lengthy though, and has a few drawbacks such as backtracking, and moving between areas can also be time consuming due to having to travel by boat most of the time between those different places. But as someone who was late to this long after the reviews, I quite enjoyed myself with the game, despite the issues, as it was a world with memorable characters and storylines, plus the Xbox Series X and S enhancement. It ran great and looked really good too. It may not have received the best reviews, but if you see it on sale, then try it out. For number 2, it's Ghostrunner, and this is one game where I think many players will bow out within the first 20 to 30 minutes, as it can be difficult and tricky to get the hang of the combat. Plus it's the type of game whereby if you get hit, then you're dead. And it isn't too difficult to die either, as one wrong button press or mistimed jump can see you get hit, and it's this and the repetitiveness of dying and trying over and over that will see many players simply say, screw this shit, I'm done. But if you give it some time, then the controls and gameplay can start to click, and it can become quite addictive as the jumping and sword fights are fast and fluid, and when all of your moves gel together and you take out a room full of enemies, it can be very satisfying. It looks gorgeous and has a brilliantly realised cyberpunk look about it too. This also includes a ray tracing mode as well, but forget about playing it with that, as the frame rate becomes erratic. Stick to performance mode at 60 frames a second, as you'll need to be precise with everything you do. The last thing you'll want is to be fighting the frame rate as well. Fantastic game for those who want something difficult and different. And at number 1 is Chorus, and this one was new to me until recently, but if you even have a passing interest in arcade flying games or games that just look beautiful, then look no further than this, as the planets, stars, cities and everything else in this game looks fantastic, with exceptionally stunning backdrops that you can just get lost in. It also offers some great flying mechanics and dogfights in space. The story itself is surprisingly good too, which, well, surprised me, as it has the cinematics, and I was interested to see what was happening, especially when it came to the main character and the ship which you pilot. The ship itself can be upgraded, which adds some depth to the gameplay for some variety, but I can see this being a hit on Game Pass, and I do think it will hit the service at some point. It's just a fun third-person space shooter that's worthy of having more people playing it. It won't blow you away or anything, but it's just very, very solid in all areas and was so enjoyable to play, plus it's stunning. So there's what I feel are the best games to play that have been optimized for Xbox Series X and S, the ones that have been enhanced, but these are the games you may not have heard of, or the ones where there isn't a whole lot of discussion surrounding them. But which games have you enjoyed that have been Series X and S enhanced that you feel don't get the attention they should? Please let me know down in the comments, give the video a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and stop by the Discord. But until next time, I'll see you on the next video.